A warning before we begin: this story has been told as a true account. What you are about to hear may be deeply unsettling. Listen at your own risk.
This is a true story about what I experienced in 2012 in a small town with around 12,000 inhabitants. I lived on the third floor of an apartment building with my boyfriend at the time. One warm summer evening, we were at a party at his cousin's place, a big one, with about 50 people. The atmosphere was lively, the music loud, and the alcohol flowing. I'd had a little to drink, but I was far from drunk. I was dancing in the living room when my eyes landed on the kitchen. There he was, my boyfriend, sitting on a chair. And on his lap sat a girl, even though there were plenty of empty chairs around. He was twirling a strand of her hair between his fingers, letting them slowly glide through her curls. It was like a knife to my heart. I walked right up to them and, without hiding my irritation, said, "That's my spot. Sit somewhere else." The girl immediately got up without protest. I turned to him. "Why are you letting her sit on your lap? And why are you touching her hair?" To me, it's always been simple. It's your partner's job to set boundaries, not strangers. He met my gaze, but he didn't seem to understand the problem. We went outside to talk, but he just shrugged and said he hadn't done anything wrong. "She was the one who sat there," he said. I shook my head, frustrated. If someone does something inappropriate, it's your responsibility to say no. We argued for a while, but I felt it was pointless. In the end, I told him I wanted to go home. He wanted to stay and continue partying. I told him, "Can you at least walk me home? It's late and I'm alone." I was young, in my early 20s, and petite, and the way home passed through an industrial area on one side and a dark forest on the other. It was late at night. The last bus had already left, and the streetlights barely lit the road. It was a 20-minute walk through silence and shadows. The fear crawled under my skin, just thinking about walking alone. I suggested a compromise. "You can walk me home, and then you can come back here." He shook his head and said firmly no. The chill in my chest was instant. He didn't care. My safety wasn't his priority. That hurt more than I expected. I left, furious and disappointed, but thankfully, that night I was wearing my sneakers and not high heels. I started walking, and a group of girls was heading the same way. I stayed just behind them to feel safer, but after a few minutes, they turned off onto another road. The streets were empty. No cars, no people, just silence and my own quick steps. I kept to the middle of the road. No one could jump out from the shadows if I stayed in the open. I kept glancing behind me, and then I saw a figure, about 50 meters back, tall, all dressed in black. A cold shiver ran through my body. I picked up the pace and walked faster. After a while, I glanced back. He was still there, walking at a normal pace, but the distance between us hadn't changed. An unsettling feeling crept over my skin, but I tried to convince myself it was nothing. I jogged for a bit to create more distance, and when I felt safer, I slowed down to a fast walk again. I glanced over my shoulder, and I was stunned. There he was, closer than before, and now I could see him more clearly. He was wearing a black spandex suit, a full bodysuit that covered every inch of his body, including his face. Why was he wearing that suit? It was so incredibly creepy. My heart pounded. Something felt wrong. I felt like I should have increased the distance. Now I tried something else. I started running and watched him at the same time. And that's when I realized the truth. He was playing with me. He had been running after me when I wasn't looking. But as soon as I turned my gaze toward him, he pretended to walk. But now he knew I had figured it out. And suddenly, he ran. Really ran. Full speed. I completely panicked. My body reacted before my mind did. I ran like I never had before. This was real. I was in danger. Thoughts were racing through my head. What if he catches up? Will he try to rob me? Or even worse, the kind of nightmare you hear about far too often when women are attacked, violated, and go missing. Their stories never fully told, their cases never solved. I ran faster than I had ever run in my entire life. My lungs burned, my legs were on fire, but I couldn't stop. I must not stop. I didn't even dare to look back anymore. The fear of tripping and falling was too great. I remembered the phrase, and now I truly understood what it meant. Run as fast as you can and don't look back. Because if I tripped, it would be over. I came out of the industrial area and approached a roundabout. There stood a man, leading his bicycle, a guy I knew from my boyfriend's circle. Someone I absolutely didn't trust. What if he was dangerous too? At that point, I wasn't going to take any chances. I didn't hesitate. I ran right past him without slowing down. Now I was in a residential area. My heart pounded. If he caught up with me here, I would scream as loud as I could. But I still didn't dare to look back. And then I saw a police car, maybe 60 meters away. Hope flared in my chest. I ran towards it as fast as my legs could carry me. I wanted to scream, to call out for help, but I couldn't. When you run in this state, you can't scream, you can barely even breathe. But before I could reach it, it turned a corner and disappeared. This wasn't a lucky night for me. I focused on the only thing that mattered now, getting home, getting to safety. My street was close now, almost there. But then a realization struck like a cold lightning bolt. The entrance door to my apartment building was locked. I couldn't stop and fumble with the keys. That would give him a chance to grab me. Panic tore at my chest as I felt for the key in my pocket, the one with the rubber handle. Just a few meters left. I reached the door, got the key in on the first try, yanked it open, and slammed it shut behind me. Panicked, I turned around. No one was there, but I didn't dare to take any chances. I rushed up the stairs, opened my apartment door, and locked it. I checked it multiple times to make sure it was really locked. My body trembled uncontrollably. My heart pounded in my throat. The apartment was dark and silent, but I didn't dare to believe the danger was over. With careful steps, I approached the kitchen window and peeked down toward the entrance. No one was there. I sank to the floor. One thought echoed in my head. I might have just saved my own life. When my boyfriend finally came home the next morning, I yelled at him. If he had just walked me home, this might never have happened. He just shrugged and said, "My friend saw you running. He said you looked upset, but he didn't see anyone after you." I should have felt relieved when he said that. The man had apparently stopped following me at the industrial area, which meant he didn't know where I lived. But why? Did I outrun him? Did he give up? Or did he stop when he saw my boyfriend's friend at the roundabout, afraid of being recognized? I don't know. And that uncertainty still haunts me to this day. My worst nightmare had come true. That night has never truly left me. I often share my story with my female friends, and every time I say the same thing. Always be aware of your surroundings when walking home alone. If someone behind you makes you uneasy, stay alert, never turn your back. Protect yourself. Because if that day ever comes, it might be the very thing that saves you.